And welcome everyone to another Logan Community Starcraft event. This event, event number 3, is the MSL Code S Grand Finals. Tonight, casting with me, is my co-commentator and special friend, Nibbling, and we're about ready to bring you the action here on, I do believe, this is ocnLogan Wastes. And we're about ready to get into the game. Of course, when I say that, we're actually in the game. We have down here in the bottom right-hand corner the red Protoss fighting his way through the losers bracket and ending up in the grand finals. MSL Gladiator. Woo! So his opponent, the victor of the winners bracket round, an epic 5-round or best of 5 between himself and Pyro, is the blue Zerg player, SilverSnyper. So, once again, this is a pretty darn common map. I always like to point out that we have Pride Rock hanging out over here on the side. Viewed from the side, it totally looks like Pride Rock. And this map feature is basically the only thing different about this and ocnLogan Flats, which was Wings of Liberty map. So, with that said, how about Nibbling? Take us a little bit into this early game for us.
What I've been looking at so far is that SilverSnyper's APM has been going anywhere from momentary pauses to over 500. Obviously, some practiced routines as he observes and then executes. Whereas Gladiator has been doing a fairly regular, floating between 30 and 60 in between and spiking it just shy of 200. Should be quite the matchup. SilverSnyper in his last round shows some very good and very adaptive Zerg play. He's getting the scouts into the main. He should see that he's got a Forge Fast Expand going on. And then we have Gladiator Scout in, and he sees a lack of gas and the late spawning pool and the Fast Expand. So we got both players going to second base, and I'm curious to see if Gladiator goes to third, knowing that he's now... Or, excuse me, I'm curious to see if SilverSnyper goes for third, knowing that he's been in bases.
You know, that's it's an excellent overview on the very beginning of the game. Now, remember, because this map has a relatively narrow choke here, the Forge Fast Expand is pretty strong on this map. It's also really easy to take this third base, so I would not be surprised to see the Protoss player go ahead and take that here pretty soon. But more importantly, we see a proxy pylon in the fourth of his opponent, and it looks like he's not only going a Forge Fast, he's going Forge Fast Cannon Rush. So this could work out fairly well. It's actually, there's not any scouting on this area of the map for SilverSnyper. Oh, he does go for that fast expansion. Oh my goodness. So not only, so this cannon here wasn't actually supposed to be threatening up on the high ground. Instead, it's going to finish up and it's going to be defending this natural. And there it is. That's got to be really, really frustrating. The upside is that there's absolutely nothing keeping him here at this base. He should be able to see that he's being attacked and should be able to cancel and move away. Because at this point, these resources are more or less forfeit if the base moves. Although now, with that cannon on the low ground and a few more cannons up top, looks like this could be really difficult for SilverSnyper to deal with.
Ooh, yeah, I was really hoping those 4 lings would come take out this probe because he's proving to be quite the nuisance.
Yeah, that's... keeping track of your Protoss players' probes is actually a big deal in any PV whatever matchup. I'm really surprised he's not canceled this yet. While something's been target firing here, he had the opportunity to come up and take things out here.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
canceled.
He did get the cancel, but now, if anything comes to try to take this out, the cannon on the bottom, on the low ground, will participate in the fight. And so while it was focused firing on that hatchery, he could have come and taken out those pylons on the high ground with some additional lings.
That's true.
Instead, it looks like he went for 1 gas, and he's going to get some roaches, going to try to clear that out. I do believe he should be able to get it, but I think that hatchery might actually fall. Ooh, I think he's actually just going to go counter.
Yep, he's okay with it. I'm kind of curious though. I mean, the Forge Fast Expand is a great way to protect yourself against this cannon rush because SilverSnyper now has to fight just to keep his economy existing. But I don't see him busting this wall with a handful of lings and roaches. Not very easily. It's already got 2 cannons behind it.
Yeah, it does have 2, and with additional 2 on the way. The big thing here is the cybernetics core is just barely finishing, so another 40 seconds at least before he can get a sentry out. And the sentry is what really makes the wall hard to break. He's going to try to take out that forge, make his way in. I think I would actually prefer to go for some of those pylons. They have a lot less hit points. You'd be able to break in much more quickly. With the slow roaches just getting pummeled, he's going to try to make his way in. Ooh, he's making it so they cannot make their way up the ramp. All the roaches on move command. No probes have gone down. And okay, now they are finally starting to fight, but units lost. We have only 4 workers killed. That actually went really poorly for SilverSnyper. Although Gladiator doesn't have much to speak of in terms of army. In fact,
no, he has a mothership core, which is floating out all by itself.
Yeah, although when your opponent has roaches, you don't really have much to fear.
That's truth.
I feel like, so right now, we're in an awkward situation. It's not one that's catastrophic for either player. If you look at the worker count, it's actually really similar. Because so much investment was put into those cannons, the Protoss player doesn't actually have a large lead in the economy. But now the Zerg player is a little bit behind. It's going to be impossible for them to take their natural anytime soon cost-effectively. Although it would be pretty easy to take this third, or yeah, there he is, taking his actual third. I just wonder if he's going to start investing a little bit too much into this attack.
That's kind of my feeling as well. I would rather, stay home, establish even like a wayward point. I just bottleneck him right here. He doesn't have any army yet.
It's true. There's really no way that the Gladiator can really get out on the map and do too much right now. Looks like he's going to throw down the Photon Overcharge. Interesting choice, as it's a little bit preemptive. Remember, only lasts for, I think it's 60 seconds or 100 seconds. It's not terribly long.
I like the Roach Micro. He's keeping them all out of the range of the cannons and then pulling back the ones injured by the Mothership Core. He's actually going to get this gateway down.
He will.
Maybe bust in.
He might there. Okay. He's not going to lose that. Yeah, he's going to make his way in, but at what cost? But at what cost? Nibbling. At what cost?
I don't know. I mean, it's keeping the micro of Gladiator focused on the gate, and he's already lost 1 gateway. He's losing a second, and those gateways aren't doing anything.
It's true. He's not really been able to produce much out of that. He's invested a whole bunch into cannons. I mean, right now here we have an additional 2 Nexi on the ground in terms of minerals right there on the ground. This base here from SilverSnyper is actually quite safe. He is a little bit supply blocked, but the big thing is that Gladiator is going for airplay. He's going for Sky Toss, it looks like. Abandoning that idea of gateways and instead saying, you know what? Void Rays. I hear they're a really good unit. I'm going to use those.
Oh gosh, him and every other Bronze Leaguer. Which, he's not Bronze League, but I'm just saying,
It's true.
It's kind of like the Bronze League Zealot.
I can understand that. Although I was recently watching some MLG Anaheim, so the MLG Spring Championship, and there's some really interesting Void Ray play out of Hero versus... Hyun. Hero versus Hyun. They actually met up twice. It was a really interesting matchup. And Void Rays, yeah, they're pretty good. And so Sky Toss can work even if you're not a Bronze Leaguer. But yeah, I understand the symptom of, oh, these units are great, I'm just going to make all of these ones. Just making Immortals because, they kill buildings quickly. Let's just build all of those, like supply count.
Yeah, oh gosh. I do like the, he's got the macro hatch going on, and he's going for the 3rd. So he's keeping up, and in food terms, he is keeping ahead of Gladiator. If he can just get the tech to defend against this, we should be okay.
Yeah, we do have a counterattack here from Gladiator. It looks like he's going to get right into the mineral line, although these 3 Zealots are going to be taken out really quickly. It does deny some mining time, but other than that, not much of a loss.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good defense by SilverSnyper.
Yeah, he's starting to catch back up, and the unit's lost, although it is currently even. And when I say even, I mean he's still half, but now it's half instead of, a third or a quarter, in terms of the ratio. I'm really surprised that the SilverSnyper hasn't tried to take out these cannons over here. I understand wanting to take bases away from where there's cannons protecting it. However, now there's no creep spread in between the bases, and it's going to be really hard to reinforce these, especially with the rocks here in protecting this second base. So
yeah, I would agree. I kind of want a direct path because, yeah, in terms of defense, well, not only does he not have a direct path, but he's leaving Pride Rock up. So it's like, why not just take Pride Rock down and then open these rocks?
Yep, I think that's really a big thing to call out. It's things like this at the higher levels that can make a huge difference in terms of how the game actually goes. Yeah, here he's going to start taking out those cannons. Not going to lose very much. It looks like he did a little bit of micro on those roaches. And it looks like he will be able to take back his own natural. We do have an actual scouting phoenix, distinguished from the more traditional hallucinated phoenix is mostly what I was referring to. But it's now just hanging out here in the back. Remember, one phoenix is not really an issue. They don't have...
And he sees the spore crawler, so
yeah,
that's all I need to know.
Doesn't really want to engage that. In the meantime, Gladiator's just continuing to macro up. He's going ahead and getting that robotics bay. So we're going to see some Colossi production out here in just a moment. And also the Templar... Or not Templar Archives. This is the Twilight Council. Twilight Council will be going down. I would be interested to see what upgrade comes out of this. At this point, I'd be thinking Charge, as he's going Void Ray Colossi. So you need to spend those extra minerals. As you see, he's floating quite a bit right now. So I'd like to see Charge come out, and some additional Zealot production. So we'll see what exactly comes out. Yeah, some more Zealots, a Warp Prism, which is always good, Warp Prism harass. And yeah, it looks like SilverSnyper is now starting to stabilize. It looks like he was thrown off a little bit in the early game with that cannon rush, and is just now getting creep spread to the front of his main. It's going into his natural. The rocks are still protecting. Good pickoff on the observer over there. And,
indeed, Hydra's on the board. That's good. He's going to need it for the air.
Yeah, I think this base over here, though, is going to be really vulnerable here with this drop. Where is it?
Oh, yeah.
Where's
well, he's got a spore crawler and 2 spine crawlers, so it'll give him a moment to respond.
Yes.
Essentially.
The longer you go in the game, the more worthwhile it is to have static defenses. They buy you time enough to get your army there. But now, remember the small creep spread that you have? There's not really a easy and fast way to get back to SilverSnyper's base. Some additional warp-ins. Looks like now we're going to have...
Ooh.
Interesting,
yeah.
He's loading up again.
Yeah, he's going to go for a double-pronged attack.
Yep, so the spine crawlers, go ahead and smashing heads, trying to get some damage done. Forcing the entire army of SilverSnyper to come back. It looks like that spine crawler will fall. But the big deal is that there's this other drop over here. There are no spine crawlers at this base, only spores. And we have 4 more bases over here, so Gladiator trying to stretch the multitasking ability of SilverSnyper. And it looks like at this point, he's doing pretty well at that. Keeping himself in the safe zone by continuing to draw SilverSnyper's army away from his. And you noted before that SilverSnyper has a higher food count, but it's really, really common for food to have a higher food count. But when it's based on this really basic Roach Hydra composition, a maxed Roach Hydra army will frequently lose to an army of the composition that Gladiator has, because Force Fields, Colossi, and Void Rays really just are very cost efficient. So
I would agree. I would say that I have seen Roach Hydra do quite well on its own, but that's usually reliant on them out updating the other army. But I'm seeing 0-0 on SilverSnyper's units, and with that in combination with Gladiator's good counterattacks, including the one in the main right now, it's just keeping him from getting anything done.
Yeah, the pressure's really been on SilverSnyper this whole time, and although he has stabilized quite well, he didn't actually take too many losses there. Once again, it's 1 worker killed for Gladiator and 4 for SilverSnyper. Those stats have not changed in forever.
That's true.
The big thing, though, is that SilverSnyper is just about maxed on low-tech stuff. He does have a few more upgrades coming down. He has Carapace level 1, ranged weapons level 1,
Which he got. Good stuff.
We have another warp in here from Gladiator. It looks like this warp prism is continuing to be a giant pain in the butt. And now, remember, because there's no creep spread, these hydras are taking a lot longer to get there to reinforce, and this hatch might actually go down here pretty soon. And I'm really surprised. Okay, here comes the Spire coming up from SilverSnyper. He knows he needs to deal with this, but at this point, Gladiator's army is starting to look pretty intimidating. And I'm really confused why Gladiator didn't knock down Pride Rock, but instead built a wall out of gateways. It was going to take him too long, didn't want to get all the permits for destroying things, and so instead just decided to build things up.
I think both of these players are rather attached to the Lion King inside because they both left it up. And you know what? That's fine.
It's true. The status quo, we're going to play this like it's Akalon Flats. It was a gentleman's agreement before the game, so... Ooh, and the Anytime Dark Shrine.
Oh, snap.
So,
which is interesting because he has Overseers out. I mean, I don't see that going too well, especially where Air forced him to go Spore Crawler.
Yeah, as
that's
I say,
something
he's
you want to do
well
before
covered.
you threaten Air.
What I think at this point is actually what it's going to be for. So first, I'd like to point out he did have 2 Twilight Councils. So he got Blink and Charge simultaneously. He's got a little bit of a large bank, actually.
Ooh.
But the big deal here is I think he's going to go for Charge Lot Archon Colossi Void Ray. So there's 2 ways you can go Archon. Ooh, bad choice to engage right here. He needs to run away immediately. I think he does indeed know that. He's going to remax on Corruptors. Not a bad choice. I think actually at this point Vipers would have been a better choice against this high of a Colossi count. He's really trying to force this engagement. I think instead he should keep his opponent pinned back. Look how much his food plummeted right there, by the way. That was huge. It dropped by almost 30 in just a small engagement. So you can really see the power and the cost effectiveness of the high-tech Protoss army, especially as he does have way more upgrades than his opponent. Yeah, he's got 2-2 for his Protoss army, whereas there's only 1-1 for the Zerg army. So this could actually really go poorly for SilverSnyper this next engagement. He does have lots of Corruptors coming out, and he does now have 2-2 on its way. I just feel like he's been a little bit frazzled here since the start of the game, and he's just now kind of getting back on his groove. I just don't know if it's going to be soon enough at this point.
Agreed. I mean, Gladiator has put on some very excellent pressure. Kudos to him. I think that SilverSnyper's best chance at this point with his current army composition is to counter through the Pride Rock entrance into Gladiator's base.
It's true. I think at this point, yeah, just trying to deny additional bases. He's got the faster units, which is impressive because he doesn't have creep spread. He is now getting the Enduring Locust upgrade, so it looks like he's going to be going for that Swarm Host Corruptor style. It just depends on how fast he can transition from there, and that style really actually requires creep spread to do well. Ooh, this army's going to get pinched.
Oh,
okay, it looks like he's pulling back out before... Oh, he's going to engage. Nope. He's got a nice concave. The Corruptors here are going to do a decent amount of damage, but I don't think they're going to take out those Colossi fast enough. And the answer is no, they're not, with Void Rays. Void Rays and that many Stalkers. So now look at the food difference. The Hydras are so slow. I don't even think they have muscular augments. No, they're just cruising back as fast as they can. So a good engagement from Gladiator is able to really take a lot of damage and do well, actually, against that. So it looks like SilverSnyper, what is he replacing with? 21 roaches. It looks like he's feeling under the gun. He wants to replace with lots of units. It's they take up a lot of food, and they're really cheap. So you're able to afford them quite well. It just depends on if they'll be able to do well against this composition. Because remember, we have 3-2 Archons. Those are brutal.
Yeah, and especially against crowds of large crowds of small units, which is what he's building. Maybe some ultras. Oh,
so the good job crouching right on top of the opponent's army, but with the splash damage of those Archons, look at how fast that supply is plummeting. I don't think almost any unit was lost in that engagement there. He's feeling under the gun. It can't replenish with anything other than these low-tech, fast-to-build units. And I think at this point, this is actually going to start... I don't know what SilverSnyper is going to do to get himself out of this hat. Drone transfer, that's got to hurt.
Ouch. Yeah. That, I think, for me, was GG right there. Drones on move command at base worth, yeah, that hurts.
Yeah, yeah, he's now behind in workers. He's going to get a decent surround here. but there's just not enough units. Remember, he's going to focus down one of those Colossi. Oh, good micro. The Colossi will survive. The Roach is trying to focus the fire. And it looks like SilverSnyper is going to tap out. Remember, this is actually a best of 7 instead of a best of 5. So no need to run it into the ragged, bitter end, as you'll simply be able to come back and try your hand in the next game. So a really good game there. Really interesting opening. I felt like SilverSnyper handled it fairly well. And although there was a lot of damage done by Gladiator, he did enough self-inflicted damage to himself in terms of slowing down his own economy to hurt his opponents, that it actually ended up being roughly equal. It just made for a funky-feeling game where instead SilverSnyper had to take atypical bases instead of the ones that he was wanting to take, and I feel like that messed with his overall builds.
I would agree. The lack of creeps by connecting the bases he could have dealt with the harassment better, but I think the bigger thing, and not that he could have known this without scouting, but even at the 7 or 8 minute mark, I believe it was, Gladiator had nothing but probes and a mothership core. All he had to do was punch that wall and then go straight for the main, go straight for the worker line, and he could have decimated the game right there, even taking heavy losses, because he had an army and Gladiator didn't. But he backed off instead, and to me, I think that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. He actually did try that to some extent. Gladiator actually pulled all of his workers out of his main and made that nice little wall off as he broke his way down. You can see this cannon right here that's almost all the way dead, and it was a whole bunch of roaches on move command that got stuck here, and he only got 4 workers killed. To me, I would say that the thing that really ended up killing him long-term was that he felt like he needed an army up all the time, and he sacrificed tech, whereas Gladiator really elected to stay. He played Turtle, invested tons into tech, got his upgrades going, and then when the engagement happened, SilverSnyper was still on a mid-game army, and Gladiator was on an end-game army. And I think really, because it was pretty equal up until about the 22-minute mark or so. And then once Gladiator felt he had enough units to go ahead and move out, he was really able to win those engagements solidly and not have to worry about any sort of counterattack, as he knew that he could hold any of the attacks that were coming. So, either way, really good game so far. Players cruising around, doing good stuff. Remember, this is the Code S, so we are looking at diamond and master level players here, and we're excited to go into Game 2. So, thanks for watching. Stay tuned and give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends, and we're going to be right back here with Game 2 between MSL Gladiator and SilverSnyper in just a moment.